Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 18, title Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy, verse 10. Yaya gata karmanaha kataniyor karmanaha gunakarma shraya pumbihi samse vyavasta bhubhushibihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Chinnaravindha Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. Purport. The systematic hearing of the transcendental activities, qualities, and names of Lord Sri Krishna pushes one towards eternal life. Systematic hearing means knowing Him gradually in truth and fact. And this knowing Him in truth and fact means attaining eternal life. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, such transcendental glorified activities of Lord Krishna are prescribed remedy for counteracting the process of birth and death, old age and disease, which are considered to be material awards for the conditioned living being. The culmination of such a perfectional stage of life is the goal of human life and the attainment of transcendental bliss. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Here, who is speaking this verse? Suta Goswami speaking to Saunakadi Rishi in the forest of Naimisharanya. He is very beautifully bringing out the position of Parikshit Maharaj. How was he situated? What was his consciousness? And then, why he is situated in that consciousness? I mean, not why, how he is situated. But then, here a very interesting thing is brought about. Yaya kata bhagavataha. Now, any topics kata, you just name any topics of whom bhagavataha. Why? Said that karma niyoru karmanaha. It's like, you see, we look around anywhere in the world, every one of us, we have to act for our livelihood. But all these actions, you see, we read somebody's achievement, somebody did this, somebody did that, or somebody famous, somebody so on, so many things, wallpaper, mobiles, anywhere you look around. But every inch of the action is bound by karma. Nobody is spared by that karma. It all appears to be a glory, but it's nothing but backed by some kind of a pious credits. There's nothing beyond that. So we don't read about something else like he struggled but did not achieve. We don't come across. That's bound by negative actions. So in that sense, achievements are all that. What happens is based on the karma. But it's bound by within the laws. But then the Lord's katha activities and topics are not bound by that. Guru Karmaniyaha, very adbhuta, transcendental activities that is unparalleled in the history. That is the difference between the Lord and the ordinary living entities like us. And that is why I say, stressing that whose we should hear. One day I was traveling and happened to be night journey. And as usual, we try to get up and then see that, catch up with our chanting and then all that. So I was trying to sit and catch up with my chanting. Just at around 4 o'clock, because the station was expected around maybe 4:45 or so. Excuse me. There are people are up, and in between the mala sometimes, we just see where are we standing. And then when we just look around, the people around, they're busy with it, mobiles. And then when I just glanced at it, some of them are watching some kind of movies or some kind of videos or some kind of reading, they're looking at it. But you see, why? Morning at 4 o'clock. Because they lack something. What is that? Samsevyasta babhushibihi. These are all ought to be heard. All the Lord's gunakarmashraya, the transcendental activities. By whom? Whom? From everybody. Not like one person, not like that. Some say it ought to be heard. For whom? All of them, all of us. When we feel that art is babhushibihi. When we want perfection of our life. The problem is that every one of us wants to be happy. But we try our own way of becoming perfect to be happy. So in that sense, 4 o'clock, opening a mobile and looking at a movie, I feel that I'm happy. But unfortunately, the scriptures brings out that how that contact can make my life more and more miserable, increasing my modes and my consciousness. Accordingly, now my thinking, feeling will take place, and then continuously I bound by actions and reactions. So in that way, how I'm driven by, I don't know. And then now further what happens is that my actions, I drive it accordingly, and then accordingly I lose my welfare. What is that welfare? Is that I don't have to suffer, I have an alternative. But yet, helplessly I get dragged myself. That's why you see, to desire that what is that welfare, that need, it's not an ordinary thing. The moment we get up in the morning, stand in need for most of the civilization awakens, if it wasn't for Prabhupada. Is that how do we catch up with the day? How do we survive the day? That's all. That's why scriptures are very strongly says that samanya meta, it's equal to an animal. It's a very powerful statement, but yes. So that is where the Bhagavatam in the beginning, it brings it out saying that for whom this Bhagavatam? It says that very beautifully in the first verse, second verse. Kritubihi. It's like completely purified by pious activities. So, unless somebody is situated completely on a pious platform, they cannot think of their welfare in this direction. So, in that way, to come to the stage of that need, I need to hear, it's not an ordinary thing. Just like all of us are sitting here and trying to discuss the pages of Bhagavatam, how Krishna and Prabhupada is explained to us. But you see, this moment, it's not an ordinary thing. Not everybody can gather themselves to ready to hear this tattva. It's a process which we were all inconceivably blessed. It's a very interesting understanding it brings out in the Bhagavad Gita. We'll just delve into it. See, Arjuna, in the beginning, he wanted to be happy. How he wanted to be happy in the Bhagavad Gita? If you see almost 45 verses up to second chapter, say up to close to 48 or 50 verses also. Krishna hardly speaks in the second chapter also, maybe just two verses. And all thing is spoken by Arjuna. But you see how he goes through all about his lamentation, suffering, struggling. At one point he says that I can't handle anymore. I am sure either some of us would have run into or would have seen situations like this. But then, why Arjuna was lamenting? He also wanted happiness. He is not like that while lamenting because something I want, something lacking with this. This ratha is not comfortable for me to fight. No. He wanted to be happy. How with the family and everything. And then why he is lamenting? He Pashaitani viparitani Keshava. He says, I am seeing just the opposite. So it is catching him down. Because I came with some kind of a hope, but I am seeing opposite. He's lamenting. Prabhupada in the introduction he says very nicely, it's a very interesting quote. People in general, especially in the age of Kali, are enamored by the external energy of Krishna. And they wrongly think that by advancement of material comforts, every man will be happy. They have no knowledge that the material or external nature is very strong. For everyone is strongly bound by the stringent laws of material nature. It's called karma. So helplessly, everybody goes through find their happiness without knowing that how they are bound by their karma. So you see, grossly, there is a certain one category of people. What is that is? Want of Vedic understanding, how they want to find their happiness. Somebody builds 100-floor building, another buildings 103 floor, 108. Somebody thinks that let's build a building in middle of the sea. So they go through a lot of circus and craziness and then they build that, built it. By the time you realize that most of them would have passed away, their lives. So what happened at the end? So much struggle. Prabhupada very beautiful brings out in the 13th chapter saying, see, yes, I want to have this big structure. All I have gone through is a struggle. Nothing but struggle. To get that now going and what struggle and anxiety I go through, finally if I want to enjoy now, I don't have time. Maintenance. It's pulling. In that way, I get pulled and then later I get pulled to status quo. In that way, I just go after this. And then another line, a little pious credits are there. They think that, okay, let me adjust this. How do they adjust? They look at the scriptures. So what do they do in the scriptures? Very nicely says it. Krishna says very beautifully in the Bhagavad Gita, Avipaschitaha. Alpa medasam uses the word. Why he uses? Looking at the scriptures, I am. But then, out of ignorance, only less intelligent person try to adjust to the situation by fruitive active, thinking that resultant actions will make them happy. So what do? They take shelter of the demigods. Kankshanta karmanam siddhim. Ijante iha devataha, they are getting to certain kind of a ritual, sacrifices, many things. I am sure, if any one of us will run into the problem, somebody will run into it. You do this, donation, or you go to this temple, you do this charity, or you do this puja, you'll be free. But then, one thing we miss out there is that there may be temporary adjustments. Yes, Shiprambi Manusho Loke Siddhi Bhavati Karmaja, Krishna himself is saying. We can achieve success. But then what? It adjustment of the situation, but not the happiness. Still what we are hankering is still behind us. We are not going to get that. So in that way, what happens is that people will go life after life looking for it. But somebody looks at least the Vedic scriptures, a gradual elevation comes up. But then happiness they cannot find. And Krishna is helping Arjuna. Yes, you want to be happy. How you can be happy? Then Krishna gradually building him, saying that, yes, now from completely ignorance to struggling life after life like an animal, happiness in this way, that way, better somebody looking at the scriptures. Because there's a process, gradual elevation takes them through. So when a gradual elevation takes them through, now what happens is that they will get through, and then finally they realize that I cannot find happiness with all this going on, Brahma Bhuna Loka, heavenly planet to down and all these things. No, I'm not happy. So there Upasana Kanda begins. Upanishads, next step is the Upanishad will come, which brings Upanishad, which brings close to God. Then, now what happens is that slowly they come to understanding about Krishna. But then Krishna very beautifully brings it out, saying that, yes, these platforms, where peace and happiness you can achieve through yoga also. But then Arjuna says, no, it's not practical for me, this yoga. Then immediately Krishna brings out, yes, but then what is the topmost yoga? At the end of the 7th chapter says that, Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate mam same yuktatamo mataha. Who is that the topmost? Who's always abide in me, thinking of me, Krishna is saying. So now how can we think of somebody without knowing him? Isn't it? Just like we all take up that some education, and then after the education, if at all we want to look at a certain company, what do? We have a certain kind of an understanding, isn't it? That's why like a Fortune 500, top 100 companies, all these things will have a list by end of the college. Why? Because certain kind of history we hear, the company's credentials and everything. So we want to be part of that. Why? Because it has a reputation. So now, without knowing about Krishna, what we can do? Nothing. So that's why Krishna says, 7.1, Maya sakta mana partha yogam unjan madashraya. When you know about me, how to know about him? Vatshranu. Hear from me, Krishna is saying. If you want to know about somebody, best is that to ask the person or he himself tell us. That is the best. Then you will know about him. So now, okay, I will know about Krishna, how it makes me happy. How can I know about Krishna? Because first of all, to come to this platform, people, there are categories who doesn't know that what is their need, and some people are hankering after us in karmakanda activities. In that way, there are various, somebody's gone through life after life stage and somebody come to Upanishads and maybe certain kind of an understanding about all pervasive nature of the Lord, and maybe somebody little more elevation comes to the all what you call the Paramatma conception of the Lord, and maybe somebody even more fortunate, a personal conception of the Lord they'll come. So in that way there are varieties. But then how all these things come, people, varieties of people can come to know about Krishna, that yes, I need Krishna. It's not enough. And that's where there's a missing link. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, very interestingly, one pastime, Kardama, the says Kardama, has a desire to marry. But then, it's a very beautiful pastime. In Bhagavatam, every pastime has a lot of nuances and there's a lot of things to learn and take it into our lives and see. If you see, unlike material life, spiritual life is not like that. I move kartal from here to there, it will stay. I can see. No. Even many things in material, we cannot experience it. We cannot see it, so we have to experience it. Spiritual life is all about experiencing it. How do we experience it? Ado Shraddha. So where does that Ado Shraddha comes from? That's a very important, that missing link it is. So there, that says Kardama, when he was meditating, was completely dependent on the Lord. And then the Lord appeared. Because of his dependence and connection, Lord shows extreme compassion. There's tears in his eyes. Then he tells, see that Lord's compassion, what not Lord do? Lord says that Ekoyo Bohanam, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham, Kaunte Pratijani Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Many places how Krishna brings it about. He provides everybody, even not a devotee also he provides. But then, you see, this is a very unique case, how Lord reciprocates. And then that's when Narada glorifies Yudhishthira Maharaj. What not Lord has done for you? Driving a chariot to postman, night guard. As a friend, he is living with you more than Dwarka, living in Dwarka with his wives. How you devotees are situated. How, you bound the Lord to your lover for the Lord. But then there is another unique thing in this pastime. The Lord reciprocates. And when the Lord appeared to Kardama, he says, I know your heart, because he's Sarvagna. He says, I have already arranged for your desire. So how did he arrange? He sent Nardama to Manu's palace. It's a grown-up daughter is there. There, the Narada goes and glorifies Kardama. Then, she gets the desire to marry Kardama Muni. Then she expresses to Manu. Then Manu, because daughter requested, so he respects her. And short, he and his wife and daughter takes up the chariot and heads towards them. Kardama says, hermit. But you see the Lord's position here. He's playing a role of a marriage broker also. You see the Lord's mercy. See what not? And Krishna is saying, Aham bija pradapita. Want of this understanding about the Lord. How we struggle in our life, just like a debauchee ran away from the home, having a very opulent father. How is he struggling on the road? That's the situation of our lives. And then when the very interesting part is that when Manu comes and meets Kardama, very beautiful thing he says. That's a very essential point here to note. He says, Dishtya me Bhagavan drishto duddasho e krutatmanam Dishtya padarajas prushtam sishna me bhavata shivam. Saying, Dishtya, by good fortune. Whose may am I? Saying, Bhagavan, oh powerful, says, Drishtaha. You see, it's a very, very important. How fortunate I am that I'm able to see you. First point, okay? And then next thing he says that, Duddarsho ye akritatmana. Duddarshaha, not easily seen. It's not that, you just open a curtain, somebody I can see there. Or open a door, somebody I can see there. No. For whom he is not easily seen. And then why he is, feeling so blessed to see Kardama. Akritatmanam. Who cannot control their mind and senses. For them, those personalities cannot be seen. If you see even Krishna time also, when Krishna is walking, not everybody could recognize that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is a tricky Kshatriya. He is a hypnotist. He is a mystic. Like that, all categories were there. Understand? So, then another, his benefit is sharing. Dishtya pada raja sprushtam. By my good fortune, he is saying again, my good fortune. What is that good fortune? First good fortune is? Yes. And now he is sharing second good fortune. So what is the second good fortune? He is sharing that. Pada raja shishname. Now, the dust of your lotus feet, when I bowed down in front of you, it touched my head. So, you see the glory of it. Of whose? Bhavatash, of yours. Then what happened is that Shivam, seeing you and by touching the dust of your feet, caused me all auspiciousness. So having come, you see, that is the position of those exalted personalities. So it's not an ordinary thing. So even if you see, Bhagavatam brings out the position of this exalted person in many, many, many occasions. Just like Narada pastime, every one of us know. How Narada became. He's met 4 Bhaktivedantis. So those pure devotees, pure personalities, they just go around and try to give the understanding to the people all around the world. And then when the rainy season, they stop at 4 months in certain areas and they give more benefit and opportunity to serve them, meet them, take the instructions from them, guidance from them, see them. Otherwise, they'll be walking who are only fortunate can realize and then take their association. Even if you see in the pastime of Rahugan also, very interesting things comes up. So if you see, it's not an easy thing to meet a transcendental personalities and get benefited. So such a rare thing. But to see how fortunate we are and what is that fortune we've been blessed, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura told Srila Prabhupada, you know English? Go out and preach. He was very wonderfully situated in Vrindavan. He renounced, doesn't have anything with him. Nevertheless, Guru order. So, worked around, somehow he got a free passage in a cargo ship at the age of 69. Doesn't have anybody with him. And except the holy name, the faith in the holy name, and the sets of Bhagavatam. Boarded the ship 2 times, heart attack, and nobody is to take care, and nobody to cook for him. Just like ICU units, everything is provided, taken care, nothing. Prabhupada also did not realize that he had an heart attack. Then after going through extreme pain, then he could realize that it's a heart attack. When he reached the US, he doesn't know where to go, what to do. And 1 year he great struggle, moving place to place. He was getting appointments here and there, giving public sessions. And many times he had hard to eat anything. But he was kept on writing. One thing is that to India, whomever you know, his God brothers, influential people, trying to get some help. So initially he writes one known wealthiest person, Padmapat Singhania. Then they send response saying that, yes, we will support, but then you have to build the temple like this structure, and then all the ancient like designs and structures, Gopuras and all these things. Prabhupada says, yes, definitely, but not now. Now we are running short of time. First we want to establish a certain kind of a small organization, center. But he says, no, I will send only funds for that architecture. Then Prabhupada begs him, there is a reason, why first it takes a lot of time to do that. Definitely we'll, put an effort and we'll come up with that. But then they drop out. Then he looks at a politician, hoping that because he had met him, so he is on the way to US and he is in Russia. Then he gets poisoned, he died there. Another hope also gone. Then one last hope is God brothers. So he says, you all know so-and-so personality, influential person in the politics. So go and take, he knows me also. So tell him, and there is a difficulty sending money out of India. So we can get this money out, and then I want to start one center here. No response comes up. Prabhupada again writes, you see, our Guru Maharaj, he has assigned this seva. You only be president of this. I will be under you. I will work. It's your organization. You just support me, help me. I will open a center. Prabhupada says. So Prabhupada gets not so good response. Then Prabhupada writes, I am very much disappointed, but nevertheless, I am not the person to be dejected. Then Prabhupada takes his only shelter. Who? The holy name. If you see in poems he writes, I have complete faith. That's where he goes to the park and starts chanting. With a ball of halwa, he builds the whole world of ISKCON, where the whole world can live in. But then, very important understanding he writes to his god brother. Says that, you see, why I'm not interested in assets building. I'm getting a lot of calls from many organizations. I've been going and giving classes. I'm not after becoming influential speaker or something, fame, name. No, I don't want. I want a center, an asset. Why? So that I can accumulate money. So it's like a rich person having so many assets expanded. No, I want a center. For what? Says that practicing Bhagavata culture so that people will come. It's not by just hearing 1 day, 2 days and we go. No. I want a place for practicing this Bhagavata philosophy. If you see, without which nothing will happen in our consciousness. Culturing of the Bhagavata. To come to that platform, the missing link is the pure devotee personalities. Without the touch of a pure devotee, one cannot open their consciousness. We cannot open our consciousness that I need Krishna. We are going after happiness, just like an animal, bird, anything. How gets up in the morning and going here and there. I want maybe happiness there. Many of us have certain experiences before coming to ISKCON. So this is where Prabhupada, you see, beautiful causeless mercy, what he has gone through to give this, which is universally not possible. 3 things. What are they? Seeing a pure devotee and serving him. Not possible at all. You can go to heavenly planets and everywhere. You see, Devarshis, only few Devarshis, not like if you go to heavenly planets, everybody is there. No. Anywhere in the Abhana Bhavana Loka you go, very rare to find those personalities. And Prabhupada created the centers like this and is given first thing, which is a very, very rare. He himself made available. And second thing is that Pada Rajobhishekam, that Pada Dhuli. So how do we get Pada Dhuli? Daily we take Charnamrita. Isn't it? So, anybody comes to the temple, his Pada Dhuli is available, guaranteed. Third, how is the Narada's life changed? Which is not Kardama's, Manu did not get it. There's a third most important thing. Narada got all these 3. Huh? No, sadhu-sanga is there. Third thing, very important. Uchchista. Vaishnava Uchchista. The pure devotees Uchchista. It's not an easy. Now just imagine our fortune. Not only our fortune. Anybody comes to the center, ISKCON, Hare Krishna temple. When they leave, it's the beginning of their spiritual need opens up. That is the beautiful thing of Srila Prabhupada. See, that is exactly. It's only matter of time. It changes. We will sit here, discuss. And that is where he says that in Maya Sakta Mana Partha, what happens is that Shrunvatam Sagatam Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. You just come here, you see, from the day enter, Hare Krishna mantra is going on Prabhupada Dhun. Once you come, there is 108 chantings are there. Somehow or other, some volunteer or something encourages, take it's just 10 minutes, meditation, mantra meditation, somehow or other enters 108 times, comes to the temple, see the deities, okay? Whether he is recognizing them or not, there's an impact. That's where Kapiladeva says, imperceptibly they get blessed and life changes. And next, if there little pious credits are there in the book counter, they get a book or maybe hear about Krishna, and then finally end with Prabhupada's Tirtha. Next, before that, everybody gets that Padajala. Somebody is sophisticated, they say, we say, please take, whenever we see them. Some they gets obligated, but they get that fortune there. Somebody, they go off. And then finally, everybody gets captured is Prasadam. And that is why here, senior Vaishnavas ensured that if we just give, some like a curd, rice, this, that, not everybody will come. No problem. You have a taste for cake? Chalo, cake. We offer to the eggless cake and we do it. So they have experimented and got the eggless cake recipes and everything offered. Okay, you have taste for North Indian items? Chalo, North Indian prasadam. We offer to the lordships. That's why many people cannot digest, who are especially traditional. What is this all prasadams? Yeah, when you can eat cake, why not Lord? Why not Srila Prabhupada? We question them. They're like, it's in the eggless, we tell them. So in that way, they get okay. So in that way, what happens? The need opens up. Then it comes Nashtapraya Shobhadrashi Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. What is the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya? It's not like I come and then go. No. If at all I want to progress to the next step, Sevaya, Sushosho, Shraddha Danasya. That is where exactly says in the 1.1.2 in the Bhagavatam in the beginning itself. To come to that platform, what happens is that Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Vasudeva Sarvamiti is a wrong process. When I come to the Vasudeva Sarvamiti and when I Sarva Dharman Parityajya, for them is the Bhagavatam beginning. Now have we gone through that process? No. We don't even know where do we stand, what pious credits we had. Prabhupada filled up all the gaps. Said, take Krishna. Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite paro tomara shakati ache. Acharya says. So he has the ability to give Krishna. You see the causeless mercy of Prabhupada. So we are blessed. So now when we are here, now we can understand that after what we have gone through and come here and sitting here and wasting our time one sense. Outside of some business could have done, some watching movies or some newspapers, many things are there. Shrotavyadini Rajendra, Nam Sandhis are thousands of subject matters. Why are we sitting here? It's a need. If at all we want to increase this need, Ado Shraddha to Nishtha, there is a process. 3 things are there. What are the 3 things? Yes, Bhajana Kriya, sadhu-sanga. How we render devotion service in the sadhu-sanga. So Prabhupada created an organization and he kept himself available and at the same time created a sadhu-sanga. So in this sadhu-sanga, under his guidance, now how we do Bhajana Kriya, anartha nivritti. But many times what happens is it doesn't matter whether we are practicing and coming inside, we get stuck with our anarthas. Biggest anartha, what is that? We are suffering here is ignorance of Krishna. What is it ignorance? Where it has come from ignorance? I want to lord over. I want to imitate Krishna. That is deep-rooted life after life. Now what happens? Immediately some opportunity comes up, tuck, it will come. So now I come and then are practicing somewhere here and there. Again, now in my company I am handling 30 people or 100 people controlling. And now after coming here I want to control the organization. I want to manage the organization. I forget what I come here finally. I want fun. Why not this way? Why Prabhu this way only? Have I come? We forget. My purification. So that seriousness, when all these weeks keep it aside, what have come for anartha? All that time anartha nivritti happens. Then as anartha nivritti is happening, then the nishtha. That firm faith, when we reach it, that nothing will shake us. So what is that? When what happens is that very beautifully it says that in the line of verses Prabhupada quotes in the 7.1 in the Bhagavatam brings out at the end, very nice. You see how that ladder develops and how Prabhupada created a process. When day in, day out we come here and sit here, take prasadam, do seva. You see seva, there are 4 ways. Prana, Ratte, Diya, Vyatseya, Acharanam, Sadha. And how these 4 ways, we can discuss later, next sessions. But how this consciousness of a service attitude, it's a very beautifully Bhagavatam brings out in the pastime of Narada, how one situates and how the grace of the spiritual master comes up, then how one can benefit. So the benefit is that very nicely here, it says that, Bityante hridayanti chiddhante sabba samshaya kshiyante chasa karmani drushta evatmanishware. That time only our real vision opens up. We see our own self, at the same time we see the Lord, we see all these transcendental personalities. That's the only way. So that is where when we come to that stage, all our doubts and everything, then we think of here the systematic hearing of transcendental activities, qualities and names of Lord Krishna. Why? At that time my eternal welfare I know. I want to get out of here. Not get out of the house or some office. No. That is their Abhama Bhuna Loka. Office will change. Brahma office may be millions of years old duration. In our office only 8 hours, maybe now 14, 16 hours. But you see, office will continue. House will continue. And that is where we get out of. Gruha. What is that? This universe. So this is where the perfection in our eyes comes up. That is what I need. At that time, what happens is that when our opens up, then when we situate in the service, very nicely some other time we'll discuss what is the situation in the service. Then the grace of spiritual master comes up. At that time, I cannot read systematically what is there. Already, Shukadeva Goswami did not jump into 10th canto and explaining Rasa Leela. Sudha Goswami neither, he explained Rasa Leela beautifully from the first chapter and how he builds up, you see, already systematic presentation is there. We situate ourselves in the service and we be under the guidance and we put our eagerness and we want to work towards our perfection, knowing what is our perfection. Automatically, the grace will come. What we need to know automatically will reveal to us, and we only experience bliss, nothing but bliss. And that is what Krishna builds it to the Bhagavatam, and Bhagavatam for her takes it through, and Chaitanya Charitamrita beautifully enhances and shows what is the real blissful platform. How you will feel, it's not like you'll get 4 hands, but what you do, how do you feel. So it's a very beautiful things are there. So much to relish these pages of Bhagavatam. So always absorb ourselves in this and absorb ourselves in the seva. We see rest, we can experience it. So we'll end here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you. Hare Krishna.